Hey, I'm James Heinbuch, the product manager for the verified testing team at GitLab. Today, I want to walk through some of the recent maturity updates that I made to the categories and kind of walk through the plan that's going to get us there. So because I'm posting this publicly, sharing this, this is all related to upcoming products, features, functionality. It's important to note that it's presented for informational purposes only. Don't rely on this for any purchasing or planning purposes. And as with everything, all of the GitLab projects, items mentioned in this video, linked pages are subject to change or delay. The development, release, and timing of any products, features, or functionality do remain at the sole discretion of GitLab. So a little bit of background: every month, the team reviews the maturity plans and adjusts dates accordingly. So we just went through that process after 14.2 is released. Here is the diff of our changes that are coming up. So performance testing, browser testing, load testing, I've shifted the date on that out into October of 2022 from April. Usability testing to July of 2022, and accessibility testing all the way out into January of 2023. So today in our walkthrough, we're really going to be focused on the usability testing and code testing and coverage, because those are the next two things looking to move. So on the maturity page, and I'll link to this in the video, you can see kind of where we're at today. And I took the screenshot yesterday of what the current maturity of all of these are. Continuous integration, part of the verify stage, is at complete. Code testing and coverage is viable, and usability testing that we're focused on today is at minimal, meaning we've introduced the category and that is about it. So we're looking at moving code testing and coverage to complete by July of 2022, and usability testing to viable by that same quarter. So I wanted to talk through what it's going to take to get that to happen. So we use a scoring maturity or a scorecard to do this. So it's not just at the whim of product managers of what is the maturity of your category. So looking at complete for the code testing and coverage, GitLab, the company, dog foods it exclusively, which we do. We utilize our testing and coverage functionality very well. There are some bits and pieces that the quality team uses that are bolt-ons, that are add-ons, third-party tools that we'll be looking at. So we meet that criteria, I think. At least 100 customers use it. I feel like we can check that one off. And the CM scorecard of at least 3.63 for the identified jobs to be done when tested with external users. And for code testing and coverage, that is the big one that we'll need to get done. And then thinking about usability, moving it to viable, significant use at GitLab, the company. This is where we are lacking, and we will need to do that CM scorecard for the top job to be done, tested with internal users. We don't need to do an assessment of any of the related jobs to be done for the category. And when we talk about usability testing, we're primarily talking about visual review tools. Are users using that day in and day out as part of their review process? So what do we need to do to get there? Well, we'll just walk through it a little bit. We have done a GitLab, the company does dog food exclusively, the code testing and coverage functionality. We do have 100 customers using it. We do need to do the scorecard part. And part of that, there's two to-dos within it. We need to validate those additional jobs to be done. That is going to take some time. And that's why this is all the way out into next year. And then the customer maturity or category maturity scorecard of those additional jobs to be done, that is another research effort. What we have found historically is that each of those take at least a quarter to do. So we're looking at approximately half a year just to complete that research. And that's part of the reason that this is so far out, just trying to plan in the future a bit. Then usability testing, moving that from minimal to viable. To do significant use at GitLab. I think that there's some opportunity for us to introduce this into the release post process of adding comments on MRs from that review app, and then within docs as well, potentially. I want to talk to the designers about, will that count as significant use at GitLab? Because we know in our discussions with Kyle and the engineering productivity team, the other challenges that go into review apps when it comes to using it on the main GitLab project itself. But for things like handbook, things like release post, I think there's some big opportunity for us there. And then the category maturity scorecard of the main jobs to be done, again, breaking that down. We need to validate that main job to be done. Gina is actually doing that in this quarter, so that should be done within 2021. and then the category maturity scorecard of the job to be done. So once we validated that that job is the right one, we need to go see what that user experience is, and it needs to score at that 3.14. So breaking that down further a little bit, quarter by quarter, in the current quarter, we're in August of 2021, and I'm looking at this from a calendar year perspective, not fiscal year. We're doing research for the jobs to be done, or I will be working on reviewing the job to be done for code coverage, code testing and coverage in this quarter. We're going to need to do some additional job to be done validation in the next quarter. So I'll tee that up with Gina and our UX researchers. And we'll be building out the project quality summary. We've previously identified that as one of the things that's preventing us from getting from viable to complete. And then looking ahead into February through April of 2022, my years are all sorts of off, project test result summary or that Chakoko parsing, looking at the opportunities that are out there and what is going to drive additional usage of this category. Those two things seem to be the tops. So we'll be scoring those, doing a little bit of light validation on the opportunities, making sure we are choosing something that we can move on and that really solves problems for our users. And then looking ahead into May of 2022 is when we'll be doing the category maturity scorecard with those external users. So it gives us that full quarter to do the research, recruit, find folks, do things. This is all a kind of best case scenario, that all of this works out, that we do the research, we find what we want, that there's not curveballs in it. This could result in we didn't score where we wanted to on the scorecard in July of 2022, and we don't move the maturity forward. But hopefully this is the plan, or following this plan will get us there. And then similarly for the usability testing for minimal viable, Gina, like I mentioned, is doing the jobs to be done review with internal users now. We'll be continuing that probably into November and into that following quarter. This is 2 quarters worth of time. So this research part will probably wrap up in the early part of that. And then we'll build, we don't know what we need to build for those internal users of understanding what's preventing them from using this as part of that process. So that's what some of that research is, and some other exploratory research that we'll be working on and understanding why don't we use visual review tools, the main feature in the category today, alongside review ads, which we use heavily when it comes to release post and handbook changes. And then May through July of 2022 is when the research and the category maturity scorecard will happen, again with internal users, so the recruiting shouldn't be as bad. And that's what should get us to the maturity that we have set out, and the targets that we have. And so that's the process that we go through every month, just looking at, hey, what do we need to get done between here and there? Is there enough time to do it? Or does that align with our other priorities? So that's the process that we go through. I just thought I'd better document it this time, put a little more thought into it, and record this video. If you have any questions, you can contact me at jheinbuch_gl on GitLab, or jheinbuch@gitlab.com through email. Thanks.